It is one of the most unique racing surfaces in all of American flat track, the Cushion at the Lima Half-Mile in Lima, Ohio. Hello, everyone, and welcome to AFT. This man, very, very busy. Jared Mees, not only your series points leader, but the promoter for this event. For our Bauman, some news. Last year's winner of this race has moved from Kawasaki to Indian for this weekend. And Johnny Lewis, always jumping in and out of the series, but whenever he's here, he's a contender for podiums. In our singles division, Shayna Texter so close, yet still so far from getting her first win of the season. She, along with Ryan Wells, are trying to close up in the singles standings on the dominant leader, Dan Bromley. Big crowd on hand. We're alongside them. Jason Wygant, Ralph Shaheen, and Heather DeVoe will be patrolling the racetrack. The Lima Half-Mile concludes 5 straight weeks of racing on the big mile tracks. Let's go back at the last one. All three of them with a shot at it, with the checkers in sight, and Wells runs into Texter. Bromley wins again, and Texter just edged out. Another dominant performance by the dominator of American flat track. Jared Mees takes it in Oklahoma. Well, we could just hit play on this part where I say Jared Mees is dominating the series, but he did struggle a bit at this race last year, jumped the start twice and was disqualified, didn't race. So maybe the door's open for someone else to win. But what will really change it, Ralph, is the track surface, which is totally different here than most tracks.
Yeah, it's pea gravel. It's going to definitely have a big cushion to it. That pea gravel is going to hurt when you get caught in the roost. It's also going to be a very physical racetrack, and I think we're going to see some guys struggle with their fitness here today.
All right, yeah, so they'll throw a little curveball after all those mile tracks. And Lima certainly puts the pressure on Jared Mees, also because, as we mentioned, he's not only racing, he's promoting. For more on that, let's send it to Heather.
Thanks, Jason. After a 5-mile stretch, we are back on a half-mile here at Lima, Ohio. This track is a very unique pea gravel cushion with multiple racing lines. It's very similar to Oklahoma City, being that it is a physically demanding track and there are visibility challenges due to the roost. Pulling double duty tonight is Jared Mees. He is playing rider and race promoter. He failed to make the main last year here at this event, but he's coming off of a big win and is hoping to get a redemption win here tonight. In the singles class, points leader Dan Bromley is coming off of his first win on a mile at Oklahoma City, and he got a 3rd place at our last half mile in Calistoga. But one rider in the singles class who is looking extra strong tonight is Shayna Texter, and tonight could be the night to get her first win of the season.
Well, bad news here for Brandon Robinson in qualifying today. Injury to his foot area, not exactly sure how bad it is, but he is out of racing tonight. In the first heat race of the Twins division, Jeffrey Carver Jr. takes the victory there. No surprise to see Mees running well in his heat, and he goes on to take the victory. One more heat race to run. Henry Wiles continues to ride well this year.
He's really ridden great. The only problem for Henry Wiles is Jared Mees.
Yes, he's second in the standings behind your defending champion. Riders now taking their sight survey as we whittle the field down into our semis. We'll show you semi number 1 here. Wiles going to have to take on Mees in this one, and Bauman, don't count him out. First race on the Indian, but did very well on the cushion last year. 9 of these riders will go to the main event. So a lot of pressure, especially on Mees, who jumped the start and didn't make the main last year. Let's see if he can hold off, hold back, and then make it happen. He's on the outside of the number 1. Yes, clean start this time, and Mees, as he has done so many times this year, using the outside to get a good jump. Wiles going to try to hold him. It's Bauman actually on the 14 ahead of Wiles. Good battle between he and Mees right now on the backstretch.
Wow, look at that roost coming off those rear tires, and you can see, oh, man!
Bauman.
Wow, you can see how rough it gets, Jason. It is really going to be a physical race for these riders.
Well, Heather said this track has multiple lines. I don't think that was exactly one of them, though, that Bauman ended up in. But look at this. He is closing right back up on Mees.
Bauman really kept the thing wide open last year, and that was one of the keys, he said, to getting the victory in the main event. And he's obviously riding hard here today.
And Wiles back there in 3rd, kind of out of that roost zone. We'll see if he stays at that distance or if he tries to get aggressive and close in. Right now, though, it's a 2-man battle.
I mean, look, we're only a handful of laps in, and look at how clean the number 1 plate is, and look how dirty the 14 is. That roost is just vicious here.
And a shout out to Sean Bear Doesn't race all the races with us. When he does, he comes to the KTM, and he's usually pretty fast. He's 4th in this race right now. Oh, a little mistake from Mees, and now Bauman's got him in his sights.
Well, this is a kind of track, it's going to be very easy to make one of those mistakes. And if a guy is right on your tail like Bauman is, he can capitalize, and here he comes.
Oh, the multiple grooves worked there. He started on the outside, ended up on the inside. Can't quite get a wheel on Mees, but this is a great challenge from the number 14.
This is, I think, the hardest we've seen Mees pushed all year, whether it was in a main, a heat, or a semi. This is great from Briar Bauman.
Bauman going to use the long way around, and it almost worked again. So 2 different looks. Neither one was enough to take the lead, but certainly enough to threaten Mees and put the pressure on. Let's see how he does it here.
Look at Bauman, diamond the corner off, was wide, then cuts back down to the bottom, and now Mees starts opening up about an extra bike length on him.
And Ralph, you see that Bauman had to pull the tear off there. That's the vision you're talking about.
It's going to be really tough to deal with, and it's not going to get easy.
Now, the longer he's behind, the more he's going to take on. Look at the difference in the bikes. Mees looks like they just rolled that thing off of the factory floor. But now Bauman's getting to the inside. Oh, they almost tangle.
Boy, I thought for sure Briar was going to get by him that time. And again, he can't see.
No.
And he had to back out of the throttle to go for the tear-off, and that cost him. Vision cost Briar Bauman a shot at the win.
And that was a game of inches. He almost had the pass made. Then he would have been fine. But instead, he took on even more roost, throwing more tear-offs. And suddenly, Mees is back to the customary lead he has, the cushion track. The only track this year where we have not seen Mees build up a big cushion on 2nd place. Bauman, I think he wants another shot at it. He's coming back.
Well, he's going to try. He's got a couple laps to get there, but I don't know if he's going to have enough time. He's still wide open on that very high line. And, man, it's... Oh, look at the caution now, red flag.
Wait a minute. Okay, well, this could shake things up big time. That is Shoemaker on the 55, also an Indian. He looks to be okay, so it must have been mechanical problems. Cody Johncock's down. There is the machine. Good thing we have the hay bales there. What has happened, J.R. Addison? So this must have been a pileup. And this is going to lead to a restart. So Bauman, the good news is he's got another chance to pass Mees. The bad news, he's going to eat more roost. Look at how dirty his machine is. You got Wiles going to try to sneak in there on the 17. Couldn't get the jump. It's that Vanderkoy in the factory Harley down to the inside and 4th. Nice jump by Vanderkoy. He might be able to take 3rd from Wiles.
Wait, Bauman had him. He had the lead and just bounced way too high up through the cushion, and Mees was able to get back underneath it.
And Bauman again exploring way up top. Is this going to work? Wiles nearly taking advantage and taking the 2nd place spot away. Couldn't do it. Wiles going to try the inside again. He wants 2nd place.
Well, Henry might go for the lead.
Oh, 3 different lines on the exit of this corner. Rush down to the line. Whoa, and they almost came together. Bauman holds off Wiles, goes back after Mees.
Look at Bauman all the way up along the bales and the air fence. Just almost too far. I thought Henry was going to get him there.
Does avoid the roost by getting completely out of the line of Mees, but eventually they have to funnel back together and no change in the order, but still spectacular racing. And there is still an opportunity, a lap and a half to go for Bauman to take the lead. What do you think? Why is Bauman? He goes so wide, you think that's a mistake. Apparently this is planned.
Well, it's all about momentum. As you remember, I said he won the race last year by keeping the bike wide open. And by running that wider line, he's able to do that. Just keep that bike wide open and hope he eventually gets the grip to shoot back down the next straightaway. And you can see it hooks up and off he goes. It's just not close enough to be able to take advantage of getting around Mees.
And I think it's safe to say it's harder to hold that inside like Mees is doing than it looks. He's so smooth on the bike right here, but there are a lot of holes. Obviously, it's harder to go faster on a tight corner than a wide one also. So Mees showing the skills right now, holding the good line. Bauman going to give it one more shot here on the last lap. Can he get close enough out of this corner to set himself up for the next? Not quite there. Had to rip another tear off. One last shot at it. Bauman goes wide. Mees has got to be perfect down to the inside. And that's exactly what the number 1 has been most of the year. Whatever challenge they throw at him, he has an answer. Mees holds on for the win, despite the pressure from Bauman. Good race from Wiles in 3rd. I'll tell you what, though, it's going to be fun in the main event to watch these lines develop.
Well, you could hear Briar at the end there. He wasn't able to hold it wide open all the way around, but really the big difference maker was the vision. The vision is what cost Bauman. He was right on him and then had to back off just before the red. That was the real story.
Well, Mayday, Mayday. This year, Jared Mees has qualified for the main event at Lima. That's going to make it tough on everyone in that main event. Our last main event in the singles class in Oklahoma, unbelievable, and a little drama. Ryan Wells bumping into Shayna Texter. We'll ask Ryan about that contact when we return. American Flat Track on NBCSN is brought to you by Harley-Davidson, the official motorcycle of AFT Twins. And by American Flat Tracker Clothing Company. Find your groove at AmericanFlatTracker.com. And by Law Tigers, America's motorcycle lawyers. Give you more qualifying highlights from the AFT Twins division. This is Semi 2. Again, I love the multiple racing lines for this track. You see 69, Sammy Halbert battling it out with the 6 of Brad Baker. Behind Brian Smith and this man, Jeffrey Carver, who has been lighting it up no matter what type of surface we're on. He goes on to take summit number 2. Let's transition to our singles division. Last year, a great race here in Lima. Parker Norris just holding off Kevin Stallings for the win. But bad news for Parker. He was recently injured in a non-AFT event. But we do have a way to help injured riders, and that's the AMA rookie class of 79. Action Fund. They help out a lot of riders and a lot of different fundraisers, and that includes now a fund for Parker Norris. So go to AMAFT79.com and you can learn more about Parker and help donate and see ways that we can help some other injured riders as well. I've had some injuries in the singles class this year, including Sandriana Shipman. She crashed earlier in the year in Texas, but she's here hanging out. And Brandon Price battling for the points lead until a big crash at Springfield. He is here hanging out as well. So good to see those two on the road to recovery. Go to our singles point standings. Dan Bromley nearly a 2-race lead over Ryan Wells. But you can see how close it is between Wells, Carlisle, and Texter. And that happens on the track as well. Texter and Wells colliding at our last event. Here's Heather with an update from Ryan's perspective.
Catching up now with rider of the 94 plate in the singles class, Ryan Wells. Ryan, you had an exciting race at Oklahoma City, to say the least. You and Shayna battled there. You took some risks, rode really hard. But after the race, there were some words exchanged between the two of you guys. Have you guys talked, and are you okay?
Yeah, she texted me like just a little bit a couple days ago, but not until then. But yeah, I tried to kind of basically tell her I wasn't intentional what happened at the last corner of Oklahoma, and she didn't really want to hear no part of that, and then the crowd booed me, but it's just part of racing. She's a crowd favorite. Obviously, we all hear it when we go out there, so I didn't really expect to be loved by them all. So, but it's all good. I don't think she has any hard feelings anymore. I think she got home and realized that it was just racing. She did the same thing, so yeah, we'll move on.
Well, we're here at a half-mile again. You got your first win this season at Calistoga, which was another half-mile, but this one differs. Tell us a little bit about how this track is different.
Yeah, be a good old-fashioned cushion half-mile. It's one of my favorites, definitely my favorite style of racetrack to ride on every year, and especially Lima. The loose dirt, whoever can ride the hardest is pretty much usually the fastest, so that's what I love about it.
You were the winner here in 2016. After being on track, how are you feeling about getting your second win of the season?
It definitely didn't start off as way as I expected it to. It was just a whole new bike and everything compared to when I won in 16, but that last session we were first pretty much the whole time until the very last session, so we definitely made a lot of improvements, so it'll be whoever can do 15 fast laps.
Okay, well, he said he would expect Shayna to do the same to him, and watch the heat race. That's exactly what she does. She goes to the inside and doesn't back off. There's
no way she's backing off at that point, no. Not at all.
All right, so turnabout's fair play. They put justice out of the racetrack. Shayna goes on to win that heat race. They'll meet up a little bit later on. Heat race number 2. Hey, we have a new contender. The reigning Canadian flat track champion, Brody Buchanan, comes down and wins his heat. And Corey Texter, Shayna's brother, a good job winning heat race number 3. So we'll transition on to the semis. Shayna keeps rolling, Ralph.
She sure does. Boy, she has been strong all day. Good in her heat, great in her semi. What can she do in the main?
Could this be the night of the first win? Now it's another Texter, her brother, battling it out with Wells. No matter where this guy goes, he's got to deal with one of them. Good race for the lead in semi 2. Wells able to hold on and take the victory. So our main event field is set. And throughout these qualifying races, we've seen some upstarts. You got Cameron Smith, the Canadian, Buchanan, all battling. Can they top Shayna Texter, though, who has been perfect in the heat and the semi? Can she make up ground on series leader Dan Bromley? American Flat Track on NBCSN. We are ready for the main event in the singles division for the Indian Motorcycle Lima Half-Mile. This track has been very unpredictable, a lot of different racing lines and room for passing, and this singles field so evenly matched this season. Should be one of the most exciting races of the year, I would think.
Yeah, trying to figure out how you're going to get around Bromley's going to be tough. Cameron Smith has really been impressive here today, and Shayna Texter, you know, she dates Briar Bauman, who won this race a year ago, and she said, I've been talking to him every day about what to do to win at Lima. Maybe he gave her the secret here. We'll see.
All right, well, he said go wide open, so we'll see if she does that. Here is your 18-rider grid in a 15-lap race. Texter's been very close to wins this year, but has yet to get one. Could tonight be the night? Can Bromley continue to stretch the points lead? Here we go in Lima. Ryan Wells all the way on the outside of the 94. We've seen that line work, but not this time. Looks like Colby Carlisle, the number one in the center. No, it goes too far outside.
Boy, nobody was farther out than Shayna Texter, and she goes to the lead.
I am shocked, Ralph. I did not expect to see her emerge with the number one spot. Yes, the line didn't look good. Here comes Carlisle trying to get her back. Also, the starts have been a big struggle for Shayna this year, so this whole shot is huge.
Well, who else was riding on that outside line earlier today and almost took the lead? Let me think about, oh yeah, Briar Bauman, that's right.
Okay, so he can just follow her wheel tracks later on when he's on the line for the Twins main. Right now, it looks good for Shayna on that Husqvarna. Got the defending champ right behind her, Carlisle, then Wells, and they've stretched out a bit over everyone else.
I'll tell you what, that outside line, it might be fast, but man, is it ever rough, too.
Well, we said it would be a test of physical fitness and endurance because this track is so rough. So just because Shayna has the lead right now, these riders know they might get an opportunity and looking to take advantage right now. Ryan Wells on the Richie Morris Racing Honda right up to the rear fender of Carlisle.
Colby doing a nice job there. You can see Shayna's having to fight the bike a lot more up there in that rougher outside line. Colby said earlier this year at Daytona he was going to be more aggressive. Let's see if he can do that here today. This is the kind of track you can be aggressive on.
Aggressive is Cameron Smith there in fourth. He's using that high line as well and starting to close on this two-rider battle for second.
How impressive has he been today?
What a difference. Although we kept saying this is a totally different size track and a totally different surface, so maybe we're seeing different skills go to the forefront.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. He's going to get challenged for fourth now.
Shayna, meanwhile, getting away as well as Carlisle and Smith really lean on each other for second, third, and fourth. She is just rolling. Wells not giving up. He's working the inside in nearly every spot, but still can't get the pass on Carlisle. Now going to go to the outside. Ooh, I think Wells might have it off of this corner here. Let's see if he can get some traction. He does.
Yeah, he had the momentum, got the hookup he was looking for.
Oh, Carlisle not giving up, Ralph.
No, Colby right back to the inside.
Ah, a little mistake there, mid-corner, and that finally allows Wells to lock it down. So that was about 5 laps worth of work. And in that time, it has allowed Shayna to break away.
And look at our Canadian friend Buchanan up here now to fourth.
All right, so that was not a fluke in the qualifying races. Very quick, and here we are, about 7 laps into the main event, and he is right there, maybe with an outside shot at a podium. Here he comes on the 149. He's had to do some work, too, passing on this track with the Roost. Not easy, but he's done it, and he's now trying to close the gap on Carlisle. See if the Canadian can get it done. Kevin Stallings, just take my word for it, he's on the 99. You can't see the numbers. Stallings is there as well. You never know what you're going to get from Stallings. There are some weekends where he is the fastest rider, full stop. Could tonight be another one of those nights? How much ground can he make up? Carlisle is going backwards here.
Past the halfway point. Don't know if it's a motorcycle issue or a physical issue. They've been battling pretty hard here.
Yep, he's losing ground a little bit to the 94, and that has allowed Buchanan and Stallings to catch him. Oh, nice line down to the inside by Buchanan.
You can see just how much smoother it is down there. If you can't carry the speed around the outside, that inside line's not so bad.
Past the halfway mark, Shayna Texter continues to check out. And you see the white helmet, that is Dan Bromley, your series leader. He's been pretty good on pretty much every track we've raced on this year. Certainly the most varied results this season of anybody. He's been strong everywhere. Got a lot of work to do, but closing on this battle.
Carlisle is really struggling.
Yeah.
He's got 4 guys on his heels. He just cannot get that bike through the corner, and they're going to swallow him up here.
And Bromley wants to take advantage. He's at the back of this train, but he's very aggressive. Look at him all the way down low. That distinctive white helmet, he's right there. Valuable points for Bromley if he can make up a couple passes. Still battling is Stallings and Buchan, the Canadian, wheel to wheel coming out of this corner.
You know, a lot of these guys in the field might not have known Buchan before the start of the night. They're going to know him when it's over.
Oh, yeah. So welcome here to the Canadian. Bromley just made a pass on Cameron Smith. He's not done yet. He's going to try to work the outside on Stallings and Buchan. Great racing here. We got about 5 lines in these corners, Ralph.
I thought for sure by now Colby Carlisle would have lost 4 more spots. Oh, and there it goes.
Okay, we suspected something was amiss, and now it absolutely is. Somehow, he hasn't lost a lot of power. He's still in the position.
Now he's got to be careful and try to get out of everybody's way.
He knows. He just looked down at the machine. He puts the hand up. He's going to try to go outside. Almost tangled with Bromley. That could have been a disaster. Wow. All right, so huge shakeup here. Bromley looking to take advantage. Let's send it trackside to Heather.
19-year-old Brody Buchan is all the way from Canada, making his start here at Lima, Ohio. But he told me earlier that he's really used to these cushion tracks. They actually have the Canadian cushion, as he referred to it. The tracks up there are very similar to this pea gravel that they are racing on tonight. I asked him what he thought would be the fastest line, since there are multiple lines on this track, and he said he's going to chase wherever the track is smooth. We will also see him in New York at our next race.
All right, we got ourselves a contender here with the man out of Canada. Bromley's going to give him a challenge as well. And you got Kevin Stallings in this group. So we've lost Carlisle, and that might also be the last gasp for Carlisle in this championship. Have mounted a great comeback after not racing the opener with a crash at Daytona. A couple of wins got him back to 3rd in the standings. Now that he's out, he's going to lose a lot of ground. There's Bromley just ahead of Buchan. Can Bromley salvage a podium here after the bad start? That would be a lot for your championship leader. Time running out. There is Wells, big distance back in 2nd, so that's a good performance, but you know he would like the win tonight. Shayna Texter just too strong, Ralph.
Think about the fact that Shayna Texter came to Daytona earlier this year. Even her riding suit didn't fit. Those are the kinds of problems she was dealing with. Now she's about to win for Husqvarna here in Lima.
Yeah, and this will be the first for this brand, so this is historic in so many ways, and she earned it. She got the lead, she pulled away, listen to the crowd. Shayna Texter takes the win and delivers the first AFT victory for Husqvarna. There is Wells. And that was a close one right down to the line. I believe it was Bromley did hold on for that podium on the KTM.
You know, I know she said she's been getting tips from Breyer all year long, but you know what? That crew has been working so hard on that bike. They've gotten quicker and better every week. I think it just all came together. Great job, Shayna.
So this has got to feel good. And remember, she's only 4th in the standings, still in this. Let's send it to Heather.
Shayna Texter, your winner here at Lima, Ohio. Shayna, you finally got the win. First on a Husqvarna in this series. First here at Lima, Ohio, and first of the season. How does that sound to finally get that win?
Oh my God, it's such a dream come true. You know, I'm running my own team this year with support from Husqvarna Motorcycles, the Roof System, Parts Unlimited, Alpine. So there's so many people behind me this year. And, you know, a lot of people questioned why I switched motorcycles after coming off 5 wins. And, you know, this feeling right here just sums it all up. You know, it was really a dream come true. I never would have thought in a million years I'd win Lima.
You told me earlier you were hoping that Breyer's juju would rub off on you. It sure did.
Oh, man, you know, last year, Breyer won here in the twins class, and I got to listen about Lima for 365 days. And, you know, I think the juju came off a little bit, man. That was awesome.
4 podiums, and now a 5th with the win. Moves her to 3rd in the standings with the bad luck for Carlisle. Like I said, she and Wells are still in this, but they're going to need Bromley to have a few bad ones. So far, he has proven consistent on every track we've gone to. And here, even with a bad start in the Roost, he makes it to the podium. Let's hear from him.
That race was pretty wild. I know everybody saw it on TV. It was pretty wild. Me, first lap, I think I was like 10th, and then my dad told me 7th lap, I was 7th. So really had my work cut out for me. Going into 5 laps to go, I was behind Colby, and that's when his bike blew, and I went through 13 tear-offs in one lap. Just so much oil over my face and my bike. But to be able to come out here on the podium and do it for my team and basically make another statement showing that I should be up here on the podium and that my KTM just working awesome. The guys back at the R&D been doing a great job. Really feels good to be up here and be on the podium in Lima.
Good job also to Wells taking second. You see Shayna popping the champagne. Can she brag for 365 days that she won Lima, or is Briar Bauman going to make it 2 in a row? We'll talk to him about his new ride when we return. American Flat Track on NBCSN is brought to you by Indian Motorcycle. Be legendary. By E3 Spark Plugs, the official spark plug of AFT. And by Vance & Hines, the presenting sponsor of AFT Twins. A year ago, Briar Bauman won the Twins class here in Lima on a Kawasaki. Now he's back, but on an Indian. Why would he make the switch? Let's find out.
I wasn't real sure if I was ever going to win a Twins National. They're pretty hard to come by, these guys. They're the best in the world. I'm an emotional guy, kind of where I'm on my sleeve. Couldn't really hold myself. I'm like, man, this is something I dreamt of my whole life. My favorite moment was after I did my finishing lap. I came out of turn 4, and I had my helmet off and everything like that. Everyone that was in the pits was there to see me and cheer me on and give me a high five and stuff, and that meant a lot to me. We ended last season, 2017. I think we only finished outside the top 5 at Paris, really, in the last 10 races or so. We had high expectations coming in this year. We went to Daytona and got a 4th, which was really good. I'm like, all right, we're in a good spot. Went to Texas, got a podium, and it was kind of like the faith was still there, but going into the miles, we were 3rd in points. I think I took 4th at Arizona, which was really good. We didn't do so well the last 5 miles. I haven't finished a race in 3 races, and it's just been kind of a downer. When we started fading that quickly in that short amount of time, it was like, all right, we got to make a switch here quick. We actually have had the Indians for a couple weeks now. We wanted to race them, but we kind of wanted to keep giving the Kawasaki a chance, and our engine department, we just kept failing, unfortunately. So I had the opportunity to ride the Indian last night for the first time, and it was incredible. Obviously, the day before Lima, where I won my first national on the Kawasaki last year, might not have been the best decision, but we're looking at the big picture here, and Indian Motorcycle did a great job producing a motorcycle that's capable of winning, and we need to learn how to ride those. I want to get back to where we ended last season again and be on a bike that hopefully we're equal with everyone on, and maybe we can get racy and be at the front again, just be relevant in the series. We're trying to build for the future right now, and unfortunately doing it in the middle of the year isn't the best, but no time like the present. We're going to see what it's like to throw an Indian around here.
We have seen plenty of races where top 7 spots are filled with Indians, except for Bauman and his Kawasaki. But they're all chasing this Indian, Jared Mees, who has been absolutely dominant this year, and he is with Heather.
Coming off of a runaway win at Oklahoma City is Jared Mees. Jared, you've had a dominating season so far. What does it mean to you, or what does it feel like to be the threat, race in and race out, and the guy with the target on the back for the one to beat?
I think that's what everybody drives and shoots for, you know. I mean, everybody has a goal to go to every race and win, and although we didn't win every race this year, I mean, we've been very dominant, and I mean, I'm in a position that I want to be in, so in a way I just try to sit back and enjoy it and don't let the pressure build on me, because there really shouldn't be any pressure. We're doing what we train and work hard to do every week.
You've had some memorable victory lanes with your daughter Hayden and your team getting victory laps on the bike. Which moments do you treasure the most, and are there any victory celebrations you haven't checked off the list yet?
Well, yeah, I mean, last week at Oklahoma, I ended up let Kenny ride that bike around, and Jimmy got on the back, and, you know, them guys deserve it. I mean, they work just as hard as I do, and it seems like I get all the victory laps and throw one guy on the back. So, I mean, obviously my memorable one probably is last year at Williams Grove, when both my daughter and my wife was on the back, and the moment that day of clinching the championship in my hometown. So any victory lap's good, right?
Definitely, and going back to last year's race here at Lima, you made a mistake, jumped the start twice in your semi, didn't make the main, but you're pulling double duty in the sense of being a rider and a race promoter in the same day. Do you think that's what led to that mistake for you last year?
It's hard to say, honestly. That's a mistake that I've never made. I jumped the first one, and I'll be honest, I didn't know what the rule was on jumping the second time, and I kind of just went early just to try to get an advantage, I guess. And then it came back and said, hey, you never read the rule book. If you jump twice, you're done. So I you know, learned a lot that night, and it was unfortunate that I wasn't able to race in the race that I promote. But we're here at another night, and I feel pretty good. The track's a lot different than last year, so 25th lap here is really gonna be different from the first lap.
All right, Jason, that's Jared Mees, who has 3 wins already at this track, and he's ready to leave those mistakes in last year and get win number 4.
Thanks, Heather. And 7 wins in 9 starts this year. This is a historic type of run now.
It really is, and I think you could put Jared Mees on the Mount Rushmore of flat track racers with Parker, Carr, and Springsteen. Think about this. There's 10 races left this year, so he could catch and maybe even pass Springsteen this season. Then you got to wonder if he can get to Carr and Parker with race wins. But at only 32, if he stays healthy, he could do it. And according to AFT, this will be championship number 5.
Time for today's Dunlop Tire Tech Tip. Heather?
This is the first year that Dunlop has provided 2 tires to the riders on the half-mile, including the softer compound of the R5. Now, no riders have any experience on the R5 here at Lima, but many of them tried both the R8 and the R5 throughout today's event. One of those riders would be Brian Smith, who rode the 8 in his semi and then switched to the R5 for the main event because he said he felt more comfortable. He did, however, say it would be a gamble because the R5s will wear out faster, and at this track, you cannot do any tire conservation. You have to be on the gas. So he said it would be a risk, but most riders are on that R5.
Well, there have been many risks in the past. Scotty Parker, no fear of hanging it out here at Lima. Great history for Harley-Davidson at this track. We'll track that, and then we'll get ready for our main event. Can anybody stop Jared Mees? It's as simple as that. See, that was Brandon Robinson there, won for Harley in 2016, not racing tonight with an injury, so it's up to Sammy Halbert and his teammate Jared Vanderkoy to get it done for Harley tonight. There's Henry Wiles, very strong this season, 2nd in the series points. Brian Smith, always a contender, and someone else back in the mix. Here's Heather.
Well, Jason, back on the Indian FTR 750 this week is the number 10 of Johnny Lewis. He put on a riding school all week here in Ohio to show 14-year-olds how to run a half-mile cushion. Tonight, some of those riders are here, and he's looking to apply what he told them and show them how it's done. He told me that all you have to do is go full throttle into that corner so you stay out of the air fence. He also has crew chief Brent Armbruster here to help him out tonight.
Well, interesting. Brent was crew chief with Harley, but now going to be working on the Indian with him. And here is your lineup for the main event. Sounds real simple for Johnny Lewis and everyone else. Just go wide open so you stay off the air fence, but very complicated once you actually see them ride this cushion track. Boy, you've seen a lot of lines, a lot of passing, but we've never seen 25 laps until right now with our AFT Twins main event. And Mees, who has been taking the outside of the start nearly every race this year, will it pay off once again? No, he's getting bumped and banged around. K&N whole shot up for grabs. He's gonna get it. I thought for sure they had him locked down this time, but no, Jared Mees to the lead again over Wiles.
He got another great jump. I mean, they did everything right. He just was able to carry that momentum utilizing all that Indian power by getting it to the ground.
So pole position has actually been used to start on the pole. Mees has been using outside grid choices and making it work week in, week out. Here comes the challenge. You've got, the 23 of Carver starting to carve through traffic. So he, Wiles, and last year's winner, Bauman, they're going to try to go after Mees.
Well, what they all know is they can't let him get away. That's what he's been doing lately. Get the jump and then check out. And they're all trying to stay with him and keep that pace.
So Carver makes one move. He got Bauman. He continues to use the low lines. There's Bauman on the 14. He has preferred going high in the corners. We're on board with Johnny Lewis. Yeah, he is keeping that thing wide open. Just shoveled a bunch of roost at the 82, the Kawasaki of Jeremy Higgins. Get an idea of how many different passing lines there are there. That might have been Halbert that shot by him. Using it outside. You also see how rough this track is.
Well, a lot of the line choice is going to come down to how courageous you feel and what can you see.
I can see Carver moving forward, making more passes. This time he's gotten Wiles. So this is a spectacular battle. But as usual, it's second, third, and fourth as Mees tries to get away. Look at Carver doing some work here, pulling tear-offs and holding inside lines.
Well, you don't have a lot of time to reach up and grab one, do you? As much as these bikes are bucking around underneath these riders.
Wiles comes right back, holds Carver off. Carver takes another shot at it. Great racing here. Can Carver hold the inside of the Exodus corner and hold second place? Yes, he does.
Carver has been very quick this year. His problem has been mechanical reliability. If his bike can hold together here tonight, he might be able to reach in there and grab the guy out front, Mees, and pull him back into second place.
Yeah, absolutely. You could probably make the argument Carver's the only one who has been able to match the pace of Mees week in and week out. Just hasn't been able to do it consistently. But I'll tell you what, Wiles, not impressed by that. He's keeping the heat on. Now we've got the onboard with Brian Smith. And again, you see what that roost is all about.
And you can hear him fighting with traction as he's on and off the throttle. And with a rider to his outside, that's the 10 of Johnny Lewis.
Yeah, good fight there. Both of them just trying to get into the top 10 right now as we watch Carver and Bauman second and third. They've gotten around Wiles. Let's send it back to Heather.
Last year's winner, Briar Bauman, is currently running in the top 5, but this time, for the first time on the Indian Scout FTR 750. When I asked him how he felt on the motorcycle so far, he said it feels good. It's just a lot different with how the chassis works compared to the Kawasaki. But he said he and his team are excited for the opportunity. Dave Zanotti and Michelle DeSalvo are very excited to be able to learn that Indian motorcycle and see what they can do with the setup. I also asked him if he planned on running that same Highline we saw him on last year, and he told me that was his plan to do that again tonight.
Thanks, Heather, and he has been doing that. He's overhauled Wiles for third, broken away just a little bit, trying to keep Carver in his sights. Carver, meanwhile, he's got the head down, he's charging. He's not letting Mees get away.
No, Carver's really working hard right now, and that's what we're going to have to keep an eye on, right? He's working hard. He's got a lot of laps to go yet. Where's his physical fitness?
Absolutely, and this track is so rough. And Mees is so hard to force into a mistake, but Carver's certainly going to try. Great job by Bauman there in third. Last year's winner. This battle continues. Smith and Lewis just ducked down to the inside of the tent. Let's see who comes out on top. Smith still holds the position. Oh, this is great onboard footage at Lima when you get the multiple lines.
Well, and so many riders love running this particular track because they will all tell you it's a real rider's track. There are so many variations as we see Baker on the 6 getting into this fight too. The lines are all over the place, so the rider really can make the difference here.
Yeah, I saw some riders even putting #rider in their social media from this weekend. The rider can overcome the bike on this track. Can Carver overcome Jared Mees to get the lead and possibly the win? Stay with us. Back to the Indian Motorcycle Lima Half-Mile. It is an Indian parade up front, but they are not friendly with each other. Look at this battle. Briar Bauman and Henry Wiles have been going at it for third for the majority of this race. That fight continues. Wiles in the 17 for the moment holds the podium spot. Bauman right there behind him. For the most part, Bauman has been using outsides, Wiles insides. But now we're seeing a bit of a change-up.
Oh, man, look at Bauman's bike moving underneath him. He's able to keep it straight and driving forward, but that did allow Henry to gain another 10th or 2.
A little further ahead is Jeffrey Carver. He is in second, trying to track down your leader, Jared Mees. So 2 different things to watch. This battle for third, and can Carver carve into the lead of Mees? And I think lap traffic here is about to become a factor. We got Rush on the 54. 5 to go. The lappers usually works out worst for the leader. And here he is, Jared Mees. He's going to have to negotiate some slower traffic and maybe take on some roost as well. It's been clean pretty much all day.
Well, he's really got to work the throttle now. And here comes Carver. Carver is really charging hard.
Yeah, absolutely. He sees his opportunity now. This is about as close as it has been since the early laps of the race. And it was not Carver in second early. This is the best look he's had at Mees. And he also sees the lap traffic that the champ has to deal with.
And if Jeffrey was getting tired, getting close to the race leader will give him some adrenaline and the energy he needs to maybe run him down.
Could be a fantastic finish here. Let's send it back to Heather.
That's right, we're watching Jeffrey Carver trying to close the gap on the leader, Jared Mees, right now. So far, Carver has had a perfect day. He was fastest qualifier. He won the George Roeder Dash for Cash, his heat, and his semi. He grew up racing cushion, so he's very comfortable on this type of racetrack. He also told me in his semi interview that he loves every line here. So as we watch him, he is trying everything to catch that leader. He's looking to get Jared and get another win here today.
That'd be win number 2 in the season if Carver can do it. He beat him once, but he's running out of time. Again, Mees has responded to the challenge, Ralph.
He sure has, and that's the thing. I'm not so sure he felt him closing just yet, but Jared worked through that slower traffic better and got through it quick, and that's probably all it's going to take.
Carver's had great speed all year, but Mees knows all the tricks. And lap traffic, see him take a look over the shoulder. He knows exactly where the rider is. He knows how to negotiate the traffic, and he knows he's one lap away from winning here at Lima.
The last rider promoter to win his own race was Ronnie Jones, who won the Oklahoma City Mile back in 1991.
Whoa.
It's not an easy thing to do.
No, Mees didn't even qualify for the main event at this race last year. Pulling double duty, promoting the race. He and his wife, longtime racers. They give back to the sport in so many ways. But he had to take the promoter hat off and put the helmet on and win here at Lima. Big one for Jared Mees. That's a major hurdle in the season for him to overcome.
That is win number 38. He is now in 5th all by himself, just one victory behind the great Ricky Graham.
And here are your results. Wiles edges Bauman for the podium. Baker makes it up to 5th. Brian Smith, not what he wanted, ends up 10th after running around the top 7 most of the race. Jared Mees, boy, this one has to feel extra good because he had his hands full coming into it, but he checked out as usual. We'll check in with him when we return. American Flat Track on NBCSN is brought to you by Harley-Davidson, the official motorcycle of AFT Twins. And by American Flat Tracker Clothing Company. Find your groove at AmericanFlatTracker.com. And by American Flat Track, America's original extreme sport. Sunoco Go the Distance award standings totaling up every mile the riders have ridden in practice qualifying and racing. Henry Wiles leads those standings. Let's send it to Heather with our winner.
Continuing his dominating season, Jared Mees with win number 8 here at Lima, Ohio. But not only that, you got the first win for Indian here in front of a packed crowd at a race that you put on. So what does that mean to you?
It means, it really does mean the world. This has got to be one of my favorite tracks to win at, not just because I'm the promoter, but winning the Cushion Lima Half-Mile is just like, it's history, man. It's awesome in front of this crowd, and the lines change, and it all comes down to a lot of physical fitness. I love Lima. And the fact that I was able to win my own race that I promoted, man, that's incredible. Hats off to the whole Indian Motorcycle and my little baby girl Hayden and my wife Nicole. She did an amazing job today promoting the Lima Half-Mile, and she deserves all the credit, man. So I'm gonna live this one up for sure.
All right, that was well earned. You see the standings here. Second place, Wiles in the standings. Carver, due to the inconsistency, is still only 4th, even though he does have a win and a solid 2nd place tonight. It's really about individual glory because Mees is gone for the title. Here's Jeffrey.
Finishing 2nd tonight, and with his 4th podium of the season, is Jeffrey Carver. Jeffrey, you sure did put a show on out there for us. Multiple lines that you were running. You just couldn't quite catch Jared, but did you need anything else, or is there anything else that you could have done?
You know, a little bit better start might have helped. I kind of had some issues with my shield actually last second, and I was like 6 off the line, and so I really had to charge hard, and I saw Jared getting away, but we just tried putting on a charge. I closed the gap on him, and I was really using some unique lines, cutting across the bottom, getting in high, and doing everything I possibly could, and you know, Jared was just flawless, and I just couldn't ever close that gap that he had on me. But you know, just super stoked, you know, be back up here on the box.
Time for the Motul move of the race. This fantastic battle for third, and Henry Wiles finally locking the spot down.
Henry Wiles on the 17, Bauman on the 14. Henry rides it deep into the corner here, runs the bottom, slides it out wide, takes the spot away, and then talked about it after.
I thought we were coming in just a little bit faster than we were, but I was still really happy with the third. You know, Breyer was riding great all day today, and I mean, he was right on Jared at some points, but we were able to come back and get that podium spot, and I'm really stoked about that.
Next up, we're going short track racing for the first time in a while in upstate New York.
Yeah, it's going to get real physical. Going to get those elbows up and watch everybody push and shove each other around.
We'll see if maybe the change in tracks changes the result for Jared Mees. Continues to roll, getting the win in Lima. Shayna Texter now on the board with her first win of the year and the first ever for Husqvarna. So a great weekend of racing for Ralph Shaheen and Heather DeBow. I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching. Congrats to Jared Mees.